you to know that the last night we were going to
Ooh, all right. Woo. This is light work. Come on, spill the tea. Yeah. Ooh.
You are now tuned in to DAR Sports Media, a show that is recorded on Tiffy time in Boba Femi's universe, where we watch excellent matches like Coco Beware versus the Big Boss Man from SummerSlam '88. Better than any Ospreay Ricochet match. I'm fucking so serious. Go watch it. It's very underrated. I thought it was fucking awesome. A fucking awesome match.
I'm gonna make that a YouTube short. Make that a YouTube short. Coco Beware and Big Boss Man better than Ospreay and Ricochet. That'll go fucking viral.
That's a great.
That'll go viral.
Check it out. Yeah. SummerSlam '88, very underrated. And we're in a place where we got our next viral challenge going up. This viral challenge is called AEW fans say something nice about AEW without making it about tearing down another company challenge. Why the fuck am I seeing these fucking I don't even know what word to use. These cretins showing off this esports arena down in Arlington and saying, "Oh, we're showing TNA how it's done." Fucking making one of these arenas look good. What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck does TNA got to do with any fucking thing? What did they do to you? Like, what does that got to do? You can't just take something that's good, which, by the way, it does look good. They should have been did this months ago, and I've been saying that for months. They should have gone to venues like this earlier. Place looked great, sounded great fucking idea. I saw Reg Geary on there talking about, well, this looks like shit. Does it look like shit more than a fucking 80% empty arena? Fuck no, it doesn't. So I don't know. I thought it looked awesome. I thought it was a great idea. But like, goddamn, can they do one good thing without it being about another fucking company one way or the other? Like, what the fuck does TNA got to do with fucking anything? What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm gonna assume. Christ. I'm gonna give AEW losers some bail and say I assume it was because Slammiversary was also on at the same time as Collision. I'm going to assume that's why they made the connection. But of course, you can still have two things on at the same time and not make the connection. I mean, it's not that deep. But I will say this: I think the issue that people are having right now, and it's going to be hard for some people to accept this, is your company is still cold. It's still very cold. The company you love is still very cold. They're getting in and rounding into, like, they're having good shows. They're getting some momentum building back up. But you're safer working buildings where it's 3,000 to 4,000 seats at best, or 5,000 at best on your weekly television, and saving those big arenas for your pay-per-views, because your product is not hot enough to get 10,000 people into a building on a Wednesday night or a Saturday. It's just not hot enough.
Places like this fucking building, or just buildings with 5,000 max.
Go to the fucking Hammers. Go to the Hammerstein Ballroom, please.
Okay, so I was thinking more the 2,300, not so much Hammerstein.
I was going to say that also
is a fucking nightmare to produce television from. It's legendary.
I know.
So I wouldn't say, use
AEW deserves that. No, they deserve that. They deserve a fucking nightmare.
But yes, agreed. 5,000 max capacity for the TVs. Save the 10,000 seat arenas for the pay-per-views. It does something. It gives something distinct of a feel to the pay-per-views. Well, there already is a distinct feel. It's buildings with people in the seats instead of not. But
right,
visually for your program, it'll look so much better. It'll give it so much of a bigger vibe, a not so cold, not so freezing vibe. Absolutely. The show was pretty hot last week. I saw a lot of double O's like really, really thumping their chests about this 795 number. First of all, not getting over 800 and you think that you're doing it big is, again, you like tell on yourselves. It's
This was a loaded card.
It's more telling than anything that you think that that's so great now that that's an acceptable high watermark number when that would have been cause for people to shit their pants fucking 2 years ago, when this would have been cause for great alarm if they were below an 800. And furthermore, it was the most stacked card they physically possibly could put on. You know, I'm not going to say throwing away because, you know, they're in TV negotiations right now, so I get it. The two biggest matches they could possibly put on.
What?
Two biggest matches of homegrown people that they could possibly put on, and $795. They didn't even get over 800. So while $795 is a better number, I wouldn't call it a good number. It's a much better number.
Better than 680.
I don't know if it's a good number for the amount of resources that they threw at this show.
I'm gonna take it a step further and say it's a slight disappointment because the entire wrestling world was talking last week about Mariah May and Toni Storm ending the show, which, in my opinion, I felt like if you end the show, you should begin the show. Because that's what draws the people in, and like I get the idea of let's make people wait, but why would you do that with your audience? Case in point. Not to compare, like we just said people compare, but WWE, the previous Monday Night Raw brought Rhea Ripley back. Who did they open the show with? Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
I believe AEW saw that and was like, "Oh, dare to be different. We don't want to do exactly like they do," and that's why they announced the day. I think the day before that Ospreay and MJF were opening. And when I saw that, I said, "Oh, they're really going for it. They're really going to do what I thought they were going to do, which is an hour-long match." And I was like, that's not the right move to do when people are excited about the Mariah May thing. We waited all week to hear what she has to say, and you jam her in the 9:30, 9:45 slot. It just doesn't. I don't think that works. Don't get me wrong. I think Mariah May is awesome, and I think her as Toni Storm coming out there and rolling around, that was all great. She's executed everything perfectly, but she had the world talking last week. So you start with the person that had everybody talking because that's what's going to draw people in. Your lead-in is Big Bang Theory. So if people see a very, very, attractive woman in Mariah May who was the leading star of the end of the show last week, they might be inclined to tune in and see what else happens. And then you can lead in next with MJF versus Ospreay, and you can roll with that. And you could have cut 10 to 15 minutes off of MJF and Ospreay and still had the same effect that it had. If I'm being really honest, the whole time limit thing, finish in 2 seconds, you didn't have to do that. I thought it was an amazing match, obviously, but I think if you wanted to fill up the first hour with wrestling, you still can give Mariah May 15 minutes to start the show, 40 minutes to MJF and Ospreay. Nobody's complaining if that happens because there's 10 to 15 minutes of that MJF Ospreay match where honestly it's just filler. And it's, and like I said, it's a great match all around, but it's just, you could have cut that down by 15, 20 minutes and you still had another classic. It just didn't. And I felt like, and you could also give more time to Mercedes and Nyla Rose, just a little bit more too. So it's just,
really good match. I love that match. The Nyla Rose and Mercedes was really, really fun.
I would have loved to see Mercedes like another 5.
Yeah.
Another
Mercedes
5 minutes.
Has been 10 out of 10 in the ring since she came back, man. I love the idea of like getting to the 50-minute mark and then the announcers, the commentary calling attention to the fact, oh shit, we're coming up on the 60-minute time limit. And then the finish comes out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Because like it feels like you're massaging your audience into like, oh, here we go. We're gonna get down to the last minute, and then bam, you fucking hit them with the finish. I would have liked that. I see what you're saying. I
just wanted more time. There's more time for Mercedes and Nyla. I think they deserve that because Nyla does not get on TV enough, which we've spoke about on this show before. Mercedes in the ring, she works well with people bigger than her, which means it's not like she's a very small lady. So it's but it's just Nyla is a monster, is a beast. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I wish we could have got to see this new improved Nia Jax with Mercedes. I would have loved to have seen that. Yeah. Unfortunately, and I think Nyla is kind of like the best comparison to like, from company to company. So I think I would have loved another 4 to 5 minutes of that. Maybe another 2 or 3 minutes to the Mariah May segment. Open up with it that way. You can still do, like you said, you can do 45, 50 minutes of this match. Play up the fact that here we go, MJF roll into another hour-long match, and then you end it. I thought the whole last 2 seconds, I was like, really? And I guess no one expected Ospreay to lose the belt. That was also the thing. I don't think everybody was like, we're gonna get some like weird finish where it's gonna be indecisive. And
I liked that part of it. That was I liked that choice.
I don't want Max. I don't want MJF to win anything, so I didn't necessarily like that part. But but I thought, once again, MJF, to me, when he shuts up and he is just wrestling, he shows why he was given the contract he was given. I might be a little overpaid, but I think Max is so good, and it I'm not one of those fans who's gonna be like, damn, they should have saved that for All In, because I'm like, hey, I got to watch that shit. I got to watch that shit on TV. But I do get the people who are like, damn, that match was so good. Imagine it in front of 50,000 people, whatever, 40, 50,000 in Wembley. So I get it, but
might be headed towards that. Unless they
the rematch
where DG comes back and he gets the match he was, challenged to, and MJF gets his revenge. That also might be the track. But the rematch would be fucking excellence as well.
I think if I had to guess, Ospreay asked for a rematch at All In. DG makes his return and helps in some way, shape, or form. The way Max just screwed over Ospreay, Max gets screwed over. He's gonna go insane, and then All Out is in a week or two after. Max versus DG at All Out.
Yeah.
I think that's where they're probably going. My issue with that though is DG cannot afford to lose, and I'm tired of seeing him lose.
Yeah.
It's our guy, so it's like I don't like he. Yeah, it's like it's time for a change. He needs to start winning, and I think Max is in a comfortable spot where he doesn't need these, like, he doesn't have to win. He was the longest reigning AEW world champion. He is now the fucking international champion, which I was like, all right. And then I think Max putting over DG, and not like the Barry Horowitz type of way either. You know what I'm saying? That Kurt Angle, that sneak you sneak up on you, get a win. Oh, I can't believe he won. Oh my God. No, I want people to look at DG like he's believable. Like he is somebody you can look and be like, yo, DG is doing his thing and he deserves this. And they have to feel on the same level. We need what Ricky Starks and Max had for their Winter is Coming match. And I hope AEW does the right thing. Not that they have a history of doing the right thing, but I hope they do the right thing. And DG versus Max in Chicago at All Out, to me sounds good. DG coming out to a huge pop in Wembley, even if he doesn't have a match, because obviously they're selling like the whole injury thing, and I think they're still restructuring and working on his contract. So and that's also why I think it hasn't hit that fan yet, because I think he hasn't fully put his contract together. If he does not completely re-sign with AEW, I think he is or has already, but I can't give any inside info on that. But if he doesn't, though, we might not see that at all. So I think AEW is giving themselves an out just in case. And if he does resign, they slot him right in. So, I think it's very obvious, though, Ospreay was only holding that belt for a small time just to give him something to do until eventually he becomes the world champion. So I think we are only a few months away from Ospreay becoming champion, and they're trying to just prolong it. This Danielson and Swerve thing is really just prolonging it. And honestly, by December, by the end of this year, I think Ospreay's the champion. So good to get him out of the international title picture, but I think he added a lot to it in just the short amount of time he was a champion. And yeah, I would love to see what Max does with this belt. I don't think he holds it very long either, though. So I don't think he holds it very long.
Tailor made for him to drop it to DG at All Out, definitely.
He absolutely should.
It's a perfect place. It's the perfect belt. It's the perfect everything. So, hoping that that's the case.
We'll see.
WWE side, I'm going to be honest, man. A lot of the Raw, a lot of the main storylines in general, not really moving me a whole hell of a lot.
Not at
Rhea,
all.
I mean, we know our feelings on the Rhea Liv thing. Can't wait for SummerSlam because I just cannot fucking wait for it to be over. Damian Priest,
if it's over,
Damian Priest, Gunther. I think we have an expectation there. Nobody's really moved by this Cody bloodline stuff anymore, despite the fact that it's fantastic the way that Jacob Fatu's getting put over. Love it. But man, once again, did you see this fucking Rowan segment on Monday?
I did. I caught that.
Fuck.
Yes.
God damn.
They are executing this extremely well, and the Bo Dallas getting beat down by Chad Gable and like
And
this
doing
is
the
most
Brody Lee fucking mannerisms. I was shocked how much of this, because Bray Wyatt, obviously, but I'm shocked. I was shocked and very happy about how much of this is also a fucking Brody Lee tribute.
Yeah. I think you can't. I think what Bray always wanted to do was to kind of keep whatever he was doing tied into Rowan and Brody. And I think, unfortunately, we had to kind of wait until we lost Bray before WWE said, "Okay, fuck it, let's lean into it," because Brody Lee transcends company lines anyway, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's not like so it's something where they have to lean into it because one, you're tugging at heartstrings, you're tugging at emotions, and if you want people to believe it and feel it, Brody and Bray, I mean, you talk about two guys we lost way too soon, who were super talented and very popular too. It's not like it's not like somebody we didn't know that well and they passed and like, oh man, which always sucks. But it's like these are people who we were invested in. When Brody passed, he was on the run of his lifetime. When Bray passed, he was finishing up some of his best character work in a while, and he was kind of rounding about again and trying to figure out what he was going to do next. So it's like you feel like it's been taken from you, it's been snatched from you, the stuff that you were looking forward to. We didn't get to see a resolution to the Brody Lee Dark Order story. We didn't get to see a resolution to Bray and the Firefly Funhouse, all that stuff, or where his next character was going to be, which they were saying he was going to go. This was what he was trying to do next. So you're getting to see not only his vision, but you're getting to kind of see what it would have looked like if Brody Lee would have, still been around. And I think Rowan, man, those promos where they're sitting there and they're talking, it adds the realism element that I think WWE has lacked a little bit over the last, I don't know, man, like
long time.
I don't know. It's like, it's just like the emotions in WWE. You don't see real emotions like that in WWE. I think when, people can reference like the Kofi Mania stuff because it was like we really were invested in Kofi finally getting his time. The Daniel Bryan stuff, 10 years ago, even though, like it went how it went, but people were so invested in those things emotionally, but it wasn't loss tied to it. It was like scripted loss, like fake loss. Like, man, you've been losing for so long, you deserve it. And I relate to this. This is like the Stone Cold
on Monday. That Rowan thing on Monday.
Real.
That felt as real as it fucking gets.
Real.
God damn.
Because it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's not. Yeah. I think that's the best part of it. Is he's not speaking from a place where it's like, hey, this is a script. I believe like WWE is a lot more lax with their writing promos for people and scripts.
Yeah.
So I think they just probably sat him down and say, here, we want you to cover this, to speak from the heart. And I will give Triple H's credit for that. He is willing to let his talent fully go ahead and do what they need to do to make it real. And I say kudos to Bo Dallas. Kudos to Chad Gable too for playing his heel role very well in this, because the Wide Six, you would think on the surface these are heels, but nobody's gonna boo them. Nobody's really gonna. gonna boo them right now because
like some
you're
Undertaker shit.
When you're entertaining,
getting cheered.
Undertaker came out with some gloves, with caskets, urn, and fucking pallbearer
body bags.
And people were like, "That's the coolest shit ever." And so I was watching something on YouTube, man. I think it was like 91, 92. Watching some Undertaker stuff, and like he was legitimately terrifying. If you were a kid then, that's some terrifying shit. Terrifying. And so just seeing that, I was like, you know what, man? Like, by all accounts, the Y6, the most intriguing thing right now, definitely on Raw, for sure, on Raw.
Yeah.
And I could honestly give two fucks about this Cody Solo thing. I think it's extremely disappointing pivot because I get it. So the whole thing is being built up to where WWE has just signed like five other Samoans, basically.
Big man Hikuleo about to be showing up on there pretty soon.
Yep. So it's like there's always a time in a Bloodline storyline where there's a little overkill. There's a little like slight wane in it, and then it comes back up. Like right before Sami Zayn joined the Bloodline, it was like kind of teetering a little bit, and then boom, Sami joins and then goes back up to 10. Jacob Fatu came in because it was teetering a little bit, and boom, teetering a little bit, boom. And, I think now this obviously is setting up Roman's return at SummerSlam. I feel a couple ways about that, though. I don't know if this is the best way to do it. Clearly, he's coming back with Jimmy Uso. I think that's something they'll probably work out. And they're coming back to their family, which eventually will get Jay involved. And I don't know this for sure, but if I had to guess, we'll see the final boss heading into Survivor Series. I don't think he'll show up in Cleveland because he's still on set for his MMA movie. But they're gonna allude to the final boss within the next 3 weeks, and then it's gonna be Roman and Solo going at it, and Roman's gonna be like, "Tell him face me," because we're obviously headed on a collision course. I know the whole talk was Rock versus Cody, and we probably will revisit that at some point. But from what I was told from people I talked to, when Rock said he's going nowhere, he really meant it. He will not only probably be wrestling at WrestleMania 41. I would not be surprised to see him giving it a shot for 42 as well, and maybe with his schedule, maybe some other events in the midst of that. But Survivor Series is going to be in LA in that new Clippers arena, Clippers Stadium, as they call it. Yeah. So there's absolutely no doubt in my mind he'll be a part of that. Whether or not he's a part of the Bloodline War Games, which is, once again, you know how you can see things months ahead. This is what we do. We can see things months ahead. This is clearly where it's going to. We're going to start with Roman and Jimmy. They got to convince Jay to get involved. And, I don't know who's going to be on. I don't know these other 3 or 4 Samoans they got that haven't joined. I don't know who's going to be on whose side. I don't know if it's going to be a 4-on-4. It's going to be a 5-on-5. But I think you will see everything that they thought when they were younger, like all the stuff that like as kids and like teenagers and shit that family who talked about, like, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? That's going to be the dopest shit for that family because they have a long lineage, long history, the Wild Samoans, the Head Shrinkers and all that shit. But to get all these generations, this is multiple generations, right? These are multiple generations all coming together to make a story that has lasted now for 4 fucking years. We've never seen something like this, and it's been twists and turns and twists and turns. And I think the Cody bump in the road, honestly, he added some elements to it. But after WrestleMania 40, I would have liked to have seen Cody kind of
it's time
to get pushed to the side a little bit.
Time for Cody to this angle. It's time to see Cody start to kind of cook a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I need like enough with the placeholder, move the story along challengers. I need somebody them being a challenger is their own story, and there's a real chance of him losing. Like I said a few weeks ago, man, Gunther being the challenger would have been something.
Would have loved it.
Interesting. Yeah. So I think the other thing that we're probably most looking forward to, it was signed, good segment, great promo back and forth, LA Knight, Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Finally going to have
man.
our guy. He's still just as fucking over. I remember it struck me the other day watching Money in the Bank when they were talking about, oh, this is, everybody considered it an upset that he didn't win this last year. I'm like, God, I see it's been that fucking long since he's been the most over guy on the roster and has been, and has not been able to get a belt yet. It's finally fucking time. It's way overdue. Good segment. Probably the thing on SummerSlam I'm looking forward to the most, other than possibly the coronation of Gunther, and I think Bayley and Nia are gonna have a really good match. But yeah, LA Knight and Logan Paul, man, fucking edge of my seat for that one.
It's look, man, it's time. I think LA Knight has shown, like there was criticism of LA Knight in terms of his in-ring work, and it's like it's honestly the Joe Hendry thing a little bit, where people are like, oh, everything's great when he comes out because his promos, does his entrance, but then the bell rings and blah, 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 blah. And I think LA Knight has taken that criticism and completely shit on that criticism, because he has had a lot of really, really good matches this last year, and he's still just as over, which is it's very hard to pull off, because he's had many instances where he could have lost his momentum. And because WWE will, they will do their best to help you lose your momentum. So I think it really is. I think it's a special thing, man, to see LA Knight continue to be as over. I think I would have loved to have seen him be in the world title picture and win a world championship. Maybe, somewhere down the line that happens. But you got to start somewhere, and the United States Championship has barely been defended. Really at all since Logan Paul's won it, and I think this is the time. LA Knight gets it, gets it done, and he can be a fighting champion. He come out there that gold to look good around his arm, man, around his shoulder, man. Like he needs some gold. He's a star. A star needs some gold. That's just how that goes. So I'm looking forward to LA Knight. Interested to see this Bret Hart, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels dynamic that they're slightly going with for Punk, Drew, and Seth. I'm not on board with that, because I wanted to see Seth wrestle at SummerSlam, but this special guest referee thing, I think it may help Seth, because Seth did come back very quickly and right into a world title match very quickly. So I don't think he's got a problem with just having a payday. He is the Shawn Michaels of this scenario. I just think both Drew and Punk are the Bret of this scenario, depending on how you slice it. So it'll be interesting. I think Punk probably wins this match at SummerSlam. I don't know, because I know we talked the last time about doing the unsanctioned thing, kind of like Shawn Michaels and Triple H. I don't know if that's the route that they're going, especially with the special guest referee. Maybe they will, and then add a special guest referee, which would make it really strange, a little strange, because Seth could turn into a triple threat match at any given time, which it probably will in some cases turn into that. So I still think WWE should close the show with Punk versus Drew personally. Or really, if you want to, you can close it with Gunther and Priest. I don't think they are going to close it with Gunther and Priest, but I don't think you should close SummerSlam with Cody versus Solo, because that match is going to be like watching paint dry, and everybody's just going to be chanting for Roman, waiting for Roman to show up. And if Roman does not show up, if you want to hold it all for Friday night SmackDown return, you definitely don't want to close with it. So I think obviously Roman will probably show up. It's too big of a show to not have Roman return, and he's been gone for months, which is not really any different than his regular schedule. So I mean, it's not that different, but I don't know. I'm not excited for SummerSlam. It feels like they kind of phoned this one in a little bit. SummerSlam usually gives you like huge, big matches where you're like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, and it just feel like this one's falling a little short.
Like Coco Beware against Big Boss Man.
Yeah, exactly. In 1988, I think people were probably like, "Hell yeah, Coco and Big Boss Man," which is fine. We had a conversation about Big Boss Man the other day. I was talking to two people the other day about Big Boss Man. It's like, Big Boss Man does not get mentioned for guys who had a fairly lengthy career and still maintain relevance. Like he was never like
crazy.
a guy you forgot. Like even when he went to WCW, he was big Bubba Rogers and shit like that, which is insane run that he did that. But it's like he never he came back to WWF. He was a part of the corporation and corporate ministry, which
WCW, and he was the guardian angel.
I don't remember that. That's crazy.
Oh, you need to look that. It was modeled after the guardian angels in fucking New York City. The motherfuckers with the red shirts and the berets and shit.
Oh shit! Yes. Wow. Yeah, yes. I'm gonna look that up when we get out. I'm gonna look that up. That's insane. But babe, I like he was like he has a legend. He has there's a legacy, man. Big Boss Man. Like I feel like he's one of those wrestlers where like him. Like everybody knows Big Boss Man, even if you weren't like following 100%. Wrestling, of him. If you're from that era, you're from that time. And he's also honestly a part of one of the unintentionally hilarious moments in SmackDown history.
Two of them.
Yeah, a couple of them. Of them. I mean,
he did Al Snow's dog, and then
and the Big Show shit. It's like he's got some all-time moments, man. And he's a part of the weirdest and the worst, one of the worst WrestleMania moments of all time. They hung the Big Boss Man in Hell in a Cell, which is what the fuck? What the fuck were they thinking? Like, what the fuck?
Well,
in Philadelphia. That was in Philadelphia. That's crazy.
Extreme things. Real quick, because we didn't record last weekend, so we didn't get to react to it right off the bat.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And we've been telling you about this fine young lady, Mariah May, since she showed up. And holy fucking shit. She looked like she had a severed head in her fucking hands in a couple of those fucking incredible camera work by AEW production.
Yeah.
Tony Storm is a fucking soldier. Holy fuck. Like that was an incredible. That looked. I don't know. I'm excited in 10 years to hear the story behind it because it looked for all the world like Mariah May was fucking murdering her, like for real. It was fucking incredible, incredible gigging, incredible juice by fucking Tony.
Insane, bro.
Incredible. Everything about it was just fucking amazing. It was fucking amazing how they pulled it off completely out of left field. Just
this,
holy shit.
It's funny because I felt it was coming after she won the match against Willow.
But I didn't know it was coming after she won the match against Willow.
Like right there. And I'll be honest, the one thing I initially thought was that Tony, they were going to tease it a little bit more, right? Because there's been no real dissension teased. It was just but then you think about it, I've never watched the movie All About Eve because obviously this is well before both of our times and not something that but it goes so perfect with the Tony character. And once you look it up and you read it, it's almost like in the movie itself, the character that Mariah May is shaping herself after does not wait very long after getting what she wants to say, "Ha, I used you. And when Mariah May grabbed that belt, I was like, oh shit. Like 3 seconds before she even made the move, because she went directly to the belt. That's why I was like, oh, she about to fuck her up. And it happened so quickly. I was like, oh shit. Like I saw that about to happen. The reason why I saw that was because if you win a cup, you go look at the cup first. You take it in, you take the moment in. She didn't take anything in. She went untied, like unhooked that belt and said, "Bam!"
Straight to murder.
And I was like, that's some hard body shit, bro. That's hard. Like it was so well done. And then Mariah just looks like a fucking star at the end of it because you made I showed that video to several people who don't really watch wrestling like that. They was like, "Oh shit, they got the women bleeding like that." I was like, I don't think they meant to bleed that much. But when you bleed, when you blade, you gotta you know I was taught this years and years ago that there's a specific thing about blading. You have to make sure you don't hit certain spots. There's particular spots they tell you where to go for. I would never do this. It's why I didn't wrestle. I trained when I was high spots. I trained with a lot of people, but I was like, ain't no way in hell I'm doing this shit because you got the cut. Yeah, I'm like, no. So Tony she gangster. She gangster for that because that was like that's a lot of blood. And then when you see the aftermath of it, when Mariah walks in and they have Tony and they're holding her up and she's coming in the back with all the referees and it's just blood just gushing and shooting and it's like, yo, like, and then they sold it so well not having Tony be there this week. I'm just curious to see how they do it because Tony's character is not a super serious character. She's, all about just, that. Yeah. And it's like, do we...
few times she has been... It was like, oh fuck! When the promo she cut on, I believe, Deeb before their match. Yeah. Like, oh, whoa.
So now you get to kind of see a little bit. I think you're going to see a little transition. I don't think the Tony character is obviously over yet, like in this one, but you'll see her more in color, I think, than black and white going forward. And I think that's. It's evolution. You don't want to run yourself too dry.
They got to do a shot. They got to do a shot where she's in black and white, but the blood is in color.
That'd be dope.
Sick. Yeah,
that'd be dope. So I'm like I said, it's All In on paper looks like it's going to be an amazing fucking show. The one elephant in the room that we didn't really get to talk about because we didn't do a show last week is it's been almost 2 years since Brawl Out happened. And a lot of us have always wondered, will there ever be a woman's version of that happening at some point? I say at this point, probably not, because Brawl Out already happened. But I will say this Mercedes and Britt Baker thing, they're working together right now, and it's going okay. But I am anxious to see what happens when they finally get in the ring. Britt can be a little stiff. Mercedes doesn't mind stiff, but Britt can be a little stiff, especially with people she doesn't like that much. And, I don't know how well of friends they are personally, but I would assume that there's always that chance that something goes just a little wrong, or the creative plans go just a little bit to the left, and I think one of these women could very well I don't know, it's hard to do something. It's hard to see a situation where the person with the creative control does not win this match. I do not see Britt Baker beating Mercedes at All In, and if she does, Mercedes is very gracious and very much not that ain't gonna work for me, brother, type of person.
It's gonna be very interesting to see how they make it work, like how they, it ain't so much because a lot of the time is anybody who watched the downfall of WCW fucking documentary. Sometimes it ain't about the finish, it's the result. It's how they get to it there in those last 2 minutes. So that'll really be what's interesting is the statecraft of how the ins and the outs of that final 2 minutes of that match will go. Not so much the winner or the loser.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so if anything goes wrong in this match at all, any botches, any miscues in the last, guarantee at that scrum somehow that's getting mentioned, in a very, very, maybe very passive way, but it will be mentioned, and that's going to jumpstart, or if Mercedes beats Britt, I mean, you left out of your company because they're gonna go there before we get to this match. They're gonna go there you left because you couldn't deal with this, and then you're a mean girl type of shit. It's coming, and I just Jen Peppermint, I believe is her name. She's doing a lot of work with Mercedes and stuff, and she's pretty much I know Will I know Will Washington handles a lot of the Willow stuff, so that kind of intersected with the Mercedes and Willow thing. But I know for a fact that this is teetering a line, and sometimes when you cross a line, even though it's you're not scripted, but like even though it's pre-planned and it's worked out that way, your real emotions don't hold back, and so there's always a chance. There's always a chance that that it could cross that line. I'm not really looking forward to Mercedes versus Britt personally like that. I'm anxious to see the other matches. I would love to see Mercedes versus Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa's going through a slight change in character right now. Deanna's there. Hikaru Shida is back. So I would love to see Shida versus Mercedes. I feel like there's a lot of legs on this TBS title run for her. So I'm really anxious to see what happens and what she can do. I hope she beats Britt Baker. I'm glad Britt Baker's back, because Britt Baker's presence it makes AEW feel a little bit like AEW, since she is like the golden child. But nah, man. Nah, I need Mercedes to win and continue on her. She's great as a heel. She's amazing as a heel, and I love Mercedes as a heel. And I think she could do a lot of work.
Outside of the ring stuff has gotten a lot better. Like she's really good. She's really good and entertaining.
Because I hate to be the person. If you're a Mercedes fan, don't shoot me, Mercedes fans. She's a bit of an asshole in real life and a bit of a prick in real life. Which, guess what? That's what all the greats are, really. Anyway, people that talked about all the greatest of all time, a little bit of an asshole, a little bit of a prick, but she's amazing at what she does. So you earn that right to be that, because you are that good at what you do. And I think when she taps more into just who she is and all the shit she talks, because she does talk a lot of shit in real life, it works that way. And so I think with that, I would love to see her go against some of those girls they have that could be. Make some new faces too. Use Mercedes to make some new faces with her as a heel, because she's very easy to like and very easy to dislike. So
you talked about it's a blast to watch Mercedes work with girls who are bigger than her. If only AEW had one really big one, who they signed on ice that hasn't been able to wrestle yet.
There's several actually.
A fine way for her to debut. So I don't know.
There's several women who are very massive compared to Mercedes that are on the back burner. One of which was supposed to work was it Marigold, and AEW blocked it. And I'll just say that I'm gonna speak her praises for several reasons. I think Megan Bain is fucking amazing. She is.
Let's slow down. She is amazing. She is fucking amazing.
Yeah. Wait, what did you say? What did you say? You said something on this show. You were like, you're talking about Stephanie. You're like, the woman you are. I'll just use that. The woman you are.
Every fucking way. God,
yes,
Lord. Yes.
Amazing. Which we didn't get to cover that. New WWE signee. Totally. That is wow. We were just discussing how her and Mercedes at Forbidden Door was great, and now she is an official. They wasted. Hey man, shout out Nick Khan and Triple H and them. They ain't waste no fucking time. That's how you take the momentum from somebody who showed the fuck out.
That was that week when I was having a good old time. Oh, isn't it fucking weird how WWE fans were saying who's this, and then now they're excited. Yeah, it's almost like she hadn't been on TV in America before, and then she fucking was and had a great match, and now they know who she is. That's kind of how the fucking universe works. Congratulations, welcome here. I'm not convinced that 90% of you aren't fucking aliens who are wearing human body suits and trying to integrate yourselves.
They live.
You don't seem to understand how actual fucking society and human interaction works. But yes, if you've never seen someone before, you don't know who they are. And then once you see them and they do good and you like them, then you do know who they are. And then you're excited when they come and you might get to see them regularly. Yes, that's how fucking the world works. Fucking congratulations on identifying that pattern. Jesus fucking
Hey guys.
Christ.
Where were you guys in the mid '90s, where the likes of the Eddie Guerreros, the Dean Malenkos, and all those guys showed up on ECW for the first time, and they were signed to WCW in like less than like 2-3 months. So like the moment that ECW started to get a little more traction in television, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, The Wrestler, Inside Wrestling, those magazines, the moment that happened, WCW went and swooped them up. I mean, think about all the Japanese wrestlers that were involved on like Starcades and those, what is it,
a bunch.
So it like this is not anything different, I think sometimes wrestling fans get so wrapped up in this whole AEW versus WWE stuff that we tend to forget that not every free agent or everyone that's available is going to go to the company you like. I'm sure a lot of people wanted Okada to go to WWE, not me personally, but Will Ospreay, to go to WWE. A couple people to go to WWE, and they didn't, and that's okay, because when all these other people went to AEW, it was, oh, look at Triple H, you can't sign anybody. Now Julia and all your
dipshit from fucking Forbes gonna write another article? Are they going to? Oh, they need to look in the mirror. Fuck you, you fucking loser.
Jacob,
where you at now?
Julia,
not saying a goddamn word.
Yeah, Stephanie, Julia, Jacob Fatu. They got a couple other girls that they're bringing in too that I heard as well. Especially from like the UK circuit and some of the other circuits. WWE is scouting their asses off, just like AEW has been scouting their asses off. Unfortunately for AEW, what they've been doing is, what's changed, honestly, for AEW, which is kind of ruined their scouting process. There's no more dark. AEW Dark used to allow you to bring in wrestlers that did not have that opportunity to be on television or anything like that, and you allowed to give them, indie wrestlers a platform and a shot. And now without that, they started doing it on Ring of Honor, but it doesn't work.
I think that's what Ring of Honor was supposed to be, but I don't think anybody knows what the fuck Ring of Honor is anymore.
I could tell you this. Somebody mentioned it, and I thought it was funny because they mentioned it as kind of like a tipping their hat to AEW, like, well, that was a chess move. AEW really was thinking that they could take Ring of Honor and turn it into, a program that Warner Brothers Discovery would put on television, looking to get it an hour time slot on, TBS or True TV or whatever the others, subsidiaries are. And Warner Brothers had no interest in Ring of Honor. And then they tried to make it appealing when Chris Jericho was champion and, I think Samoa Joe was champion. They tried to make it appealing and make it look a certain way. And they were just like, why do we need this when we already have this? We gave you Collision, but they could have easily given Ring of Honor hour-long television. It's just Tony does not know what he's doing with Ring of Honor. They are trying to bring in some people to handle certain things over there, the booking and certain stuff. Yeah, but I'll be honest.
We've always. I mean, we said that a fucking year ago when we were complaining about this. That should be your proving ground for all levels of that should be your feeder for all levels of your company. You're younger, who are we going to give somebody a shot to do creative? Put them in fucking Ring of Honor. New people coming up in the production team, cameramen, fucking people running the boards. Have them do Ring of Honor. Have them, you know what I'm saying? It should be your feeder for everything, not just wrestling. Your future, your fucking agents, your trainer, your agents, your producers. Have them fucking work Ring of Honor. Like, you know what I mean? Like that should be your training ground for everything. Your feeder for everything.
And I hate to say this because we've talked about this before, but Athena was the best thing going in wrestling last year. And it feels like that momentum is completely halted because of the fact she's been stuck. This time last year, you know what? I could put it out there now because it doesn't matter. This time last year, Athena was supposed to come up to the main roster and be a part of All In. There was supposed to be a ladies ladder match that was supposed to take place at All In. Athena was supposed to be a part of that. I'm surprised this never leaked out, which is how I know I got deep inside information that this never leaked out. But like it doesn't matter now because it's almost a year fucking removed. But Athena should have been on Collision. She was going to be on Collision. A certain someone who worked on Collision wanted her on the show. That person is no longer in the company. Should be very obvious to see who that person is. And Athena, unfortunately, was just not given opportunity Tony Khan was like, I need her on Ring of Honor. Even though he's had people go back and forth between both, for some reason he just is not. He doesn't see the vision with Athena. He signed Athena, in my opinion, because I think he thinks she's a good hand and somebody who can go out there and wrestle. And he just didn't. He wanted to take another free agent from WWE. I think that's really what that turned out to be. But I will close my statement on Ring of Honor with this. We've been talking now for almost 50 minutes about the week in wrestling. We didn't mention one thing about Ring of Honor, one thing about anything going on there. But you know what else we didn't mention anything about? Because it's not really that captivating. Wednesday, there's a blood and guts match happening on Dynamite. And you wouldn't know it because there's no fire behind it. Shout out to Darby Allin, though, for doing the Sting entrance coming down. That was pretty cool. But I just find it hard to feel invested in this. Don't get me wrong. On paper, the Young Bucks, Hangman, and Okada together is great. I would love to see that. It just doesn't fit in the story. It just falls flat. And, Swerve being involved in it, it's very strange, too, because Swerve is beefing with them. But Swerve has a title match against Danielson, who's not even on the show this week. Very strange stuff there. I guess they're like, we'll hold off on Danielson until after Blood and Guts, but there's Hangman in the wing, so leaves a lot of questions. Like, does Danielson end up beating Swerve at All In because of Hangman or something, and then we do Hangman versus Swerve at All Out? Their fourth final match or whatever. It's just too much. I think there's too much there. I think AEW looks at Swerve and Hangman as their Rock versus Austin type of thing. Like, we got through 97, we're in 99 now, I guess, or we're at Backlash 99 now. So I don't know, man. I'm not 100% sure of what AEW is thinking right now, but if I could say so myself, I just don't think this is going to do anything. It feels the most empty. Blood and Guts has lost its feeling and meaning to me over the last couple years in general.
100%.
But this one is like dead in the water. This feels dead in the water to me. So I don't know. I mentioned it because I just thought about it. I was like, what else is happening this week coming up? And then I thought about it, like, oh shit, you're
same
champion.
thing I say with like War Games or anything like that in the WWE. Like, you got to do something else. You have to change the whole paradigm of what you're doing and why you're doing it if you're going to take a match like that and make it a yearly event. Like, because doing the whole blow off to some sort of a group feud, but it's only blowing off because it's that time of year and not because the feud organically calls for it.
Right.
Shits it up. So you have to do so. If that's what you insist on doing, that this is a yearly thing, and this goes for WWE too, do something like the winning team is then put into a tournament against each other, and the winner of that gets a title match or something. You know what I'm saying? To where, like, it being a yearly event plays into bigger things than you trying to shoehorn a feud that fits it, because now you got a match that needs a feud and not a feud that needs a match, and that ain't the way it's supposed to work. So if you insist on doing it as a yearly event, put something else on top of it that isn't predicated from a feud needing to end there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then you could accomplish both and add another layer of drama to it.
And it just, this just doesn't feel important. And I think that's kind of the problem with a lot of stuff in AEW right now. It just doesn't feel important. But I can say, like I said, on paper right now, Swerve and Danielson should be a classic. Mariah May and Tony is going to be I believe, a bloody affair at All In. Mercedes and Britt on paper, it's a big match. I think they have a little bit of momentum, but I feel like when you have your main event feud, which is this blood and gut shit, be so cold because the dudes who are involved are fucking dweebs in the first place. And, like, not dweebs in, like, a endearing way. Like, Jack Perry is the TNT champion now, right? And has he defended the title yet? No. The Young Bucks, when's the last time they defended the tag team titles since they won it? I mean, Okada, it's just uncool. Like, we have all the power. It's just weird. It's not cool. Hangman getting involved is like, you can make Hangman interesting again and keep him interesting. But it's like, can I see Hangman fight someone else other than Swerve, and also somebody else outside of the Elite being by his side? That's really my question. Like, I would just like to see that. If I could see that, then I'd be good, because I just feel like we're just going through the motions, bro. Like, it's just going through the motions. So, yeah, we'll see how Blood and Guts turns out. I mean, it should be a great match, but I think that's the issue with AEW, right? They have a ton of great matches, and it just doesn't feel important right now. So, I don't know what else they have planned for Dynamite this week. I haven't seen, but I am anxious to see how this upcoming week in wrestling turns out. I think there's some good stuff to be there, and there's some not good stuff that'll be there. So we shall see how it all goes in due time. But I am
to
not
circle back before we got off on mutants. Good for everybody involved. It's not owned. It's not, AEW got cooked. Oh, this person got cooked because this person signed there. Good on Stephanie Vecker for cashing in on the fucking opportunity. Good on her for living her dream. And it's going to be fucking awesome to see her in the WWE. It would be awesome to see her anywhere. But I hope her and Julia both have like a long run down there so they can work with those girls. That's the way to do it, man. It was your developmental. You have your college athlete side, right? These people that you start from the ground up, but then you mix them in with people who are fucking long-term vets who have done this at a high level, so that those people not only can work with them, and you can get those high-level people, but they're kind of indirectly they're trainers, because that's how you get better. That's how you used to get better on the territory system. You would work with vets and people also on their way up, but who are better than you, who are more experienced than you. So you could learn how to do this. So congrats to her. Congrats to WWE. Awesome job of AEW, giving her, being the one willing to give her the platform to show what she can do. Good on them as well. You can compliment both companies in this situation. That was another thing. I had some fucking idiot tell me Stephanie Vecker is proof that AEW is capable of building stars. She was on the show for one match. She was already
getting a name.
Build Stephanie Vecker. She gave her a platform, which again, good on them for giving them a platform. Like, there's no.
She was in New Japan.
There was no fucking physical, mental gymnastics way to try and flip this around into where this is some sort of own on WWE and WWE fans. It's just fucking not. Good on AEW for providing her the platform. AEW wishes they got her. They fucking didn't. Cope.
So,
like, the fuck out of here.
So, I'll say this. For people who are AEW fans and stans, let me just point out something very, very quickly. AEW has been around 5 years now. That's 5 years now. These people have been wrestling for 10 years, been watching wrestling longer than 5 or 10 years. So if you go to a job, right, and you go to try out, you do some work at this job, you do an internship, or you do, some type of small project at a job, and that leads you to your dream job. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with any of that. And I need people to understand there's nothing wrong with using a platform to catapult yourself into a different stratosphere and a different job that you might want or might have wanted. There's nothing wrong with any of this. And I think people need to get off of their weird shit that they've been doing. And Stephanie is going to kill it. She is super talented. I can't wait to see her on the main roster in NXT, wherever she's going to be. She deserves a lot. She will be, out there putting on classics. And I think in WWE now, some of those issues that that other wrestlers may have had in the past. Some of those issues don't exist anymore, and I think we need to also acknowledge that for people. Oh, they're gonna mess her up. WWE's done a really good job of building their women up over these last however many years. I mean, Tiffany Stratton is
why don't
a
you
made woman.
ask the two last, other than Mercedes, the two last major female wrestlers that AEW signed, how things are going for them.
Yikes.
Don't know who I'm talking about because they've never been on the fucking show.
Yikes.
But anyways, good on Stephanie Vacour. Good on the WWE. It's going to be fucking awesome. We got a lot of awesome things going on around here on our YouTube channel. NFL divisional previews going down. We just did a big review of the hottest, most anticipated game in the last 2 decades. I mean, they did, I think, 2.5 million advanced deluxe pre-orders. I think it has to be some sort of a fucking record. Basically, 2.5 million people paid to get the early access of this fucking game. EA College Football 25. We reviewed it on DAR Sports Media. Check it out on the page. Like I said, we got NFL divisional previews going on later on this week. We also have coming up soon. Going to announce it here. We'll talk about it more on the NFL show. I think we're going to be starting up some college football coverage to a college football show as well. Special request from our guy Axe. He loves college football so much, and I'm a big college football guy myself. So we'll be running that as well. So be looking out. Still lots of drops.
Also,
still lots of things. Oh yeah.
July 30th or July 31st, whenever we decide to release that, of course, but July 30th is you might see us with Darius Lockhart himself of Ashe Wrestling, based out of North Carolina, where I got my start in this business. And I've said this before because it's something I'm proud of. His first ever interview ever or anything ever covered about him wrestling came from myself in the old DAR / Eyes on the Ring brand. And so it comes full circle. I got to see this brother at Wale Mania when I was there, and he's been hitting the circuit very hard for Ashe Wrestling because it's that time. And he was obviously, DAR and Darius Lockhart have been kind of solid for over 10 years. And much like Savannah Evans, who was on the show before, it's only right to bring him to DAR, bring him home. Bring my brother home. So that'll be July 30th or July 31st. But really excited about that. Glad we could put it together. Got some other stuff in the works too. Outside of just, make sure you stay tuned to the Medium site, the DAR Sports Media Medium site. There's been a good amount of articles going up. We have some new writers. Shout out to Nick Andre, who's joining the fold. He will possibly be doing some other stuff. Shout out to my guy, Jay Stringer, who hopefully we can get him on for some stuff. And of course, my guy, Tev, who very popular on Twitter. And he also writes for a couple sites. He's coming along as well. And I'm sorry, because this is still DAR, we could also talk about some other stuff that's going on. I have an album that is 95% finished. It is Soul Revival 6. If you know me, you've been following me for years. Soul Revival 6 is the 6th installment. I call it my Jordan. I'm in Jordan in 98 mode right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm going against Utah.
About to hear a cut off of it right after we wrap up this talking.
Yes, and that I believe that song is Ain't Change. It's me and my brother Shaka Sapalo, who I will take a brief moment to give a shout out to my brother Shaka Sapalo because he was featured on this AEW Who We Are Volume 2 album, which I was gonna not mention, but I gotta. It's my brother. He is on there twice. I was also on there twice, but as you see, I'm not on there anymore because of obviously the issues with AEW. Don't need to keep elaborating on that because this shit don't matter anymore. We'll deal with that on other time. But shout out to Shaka Apollo. Anytime my brother gets a big look, and also once again, Shaka Apollo. He was in Vegas this past week for Summer League. We were just together the other night. We talked about it. We are both going to be in Vegas for Summer League next year. That's a guarantee. We're also going to try to be in Vegas for WrestleMania 41, working media. We are going to be every fucking where from now and going onward. This shit is over with. You guys had your run. You guys have tried to stop us. You guys have hated on us. It's over now. It's over.
It's over for that. And we are just beginning because The world of DAR never stops.
Niggas steady talking, but they can't main. 8 chests in this form on the same thing. 20 years in, rolling with the same gang. You can say what you want, niggas ain't changed. Niggas ain't changed, 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 niggas ain't changed.
I let it get too far, bearing the cross like Knights Templar. For my children, I'm the exemplar. Gem star, twinkle in my kids' eyes, it makes me want to cry. Self-prophecy, not accepting mediocrity. Socrates was a thief, shame on the democracy. Dealing with enough, let alone the cops blocking me. Anything else is obsolete. Forsake Pete, I will defeat all that lays at my feet. Keep the biz discreet. $1,000 vacation homes with expensive feasts. Some niggas say they friends but lie through their teeth. Loose lips, pillow talking and shit. Getting themselves in the mix, plotting on your chick. But I ain't changed a bit. I'm as real as it gets. Still pounding my fist. Shock Sports is a hit. All my time in the grid. DAR Media, we sending the blitz. Fuck all the glamour and glitz, yeah.
Niggas steady talking, but they can't main. 8 chests in this form on the same thing. 20 years in, rolling with the same gang. You can say what you want, niggas ain't changed. Niggas ain't changed, 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 niggas ain't changed.
Flow master, dope habits, rope couplets, flow patterns. Justin Jefferson with catches, you can see the toe dragging. Old spasms, old fashions, Pelly, old classics, old Bama, roll tide, but I ain't doing no passing. Got these people claiming gangster, no you ain't that dog. Even producers turning shaky, yeah you ain't that dog. Niggas is bitch made pussy, yeah you ain't that dog. But I seen this shit coming, trust me, let me think back dog. They tell me that karma's a bitch and how it came back dog. I supported all of them artists when they ain't back, y'all. See, it's funny, this industry, you couldn't change that, dog. So when I see them play their tactics, I just aim that, dog. Cause these niggas ain't been that honest, but no loyalty. I said we needed royalties, and motherfuckers went and looked astonished. This is candid, but it's random. If you think of show and promise, cause they hate you if you asking questions before moving onward. These MCs are in it only now for opportunities. Place missing checks, a tagline that done influenced them. But see, this is obvious, and even now no unity in fighting black men not of the same community. Damn, now who we are? Not real ones, I see it clear.
Niggas steady talking, but they can't main. 8 chests in this form on the same thing. 20 years in, rolling with the same gang. You can say what you want, niggas ain't changed. Niggas ain't changed, 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 niggas ain't changed. Niggas steady talking, but they can't main. 8 chests in this form on the same thing. 20 years in, rolling with the same gang. You can say what you want, niggas ain't changed. Niggas ain't changed, 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 niggas ain't changed.